This is Nathan Bowman with Draper Inc. Today we're going to cover how to program an SSI and an SSI Plus for the IntelliFlex IO system. Okay, we've set up our sensors and now we're going to cover how to set up schedules on the SSI and the SSI Plus. We're starting out at the main menu that shows our sensor readings, so we're going to hit enter. Then we're going to navigate down to schedules using our down arrow. Hit enter again. On the schedule menu, you can navigate down. You have 8 available schedules to choose from. As you can see, all of the schedules are currently turned to off by default, so we're going to go ahead and set one of these up. So we will select schedule 1 and press enter. We want this to be active, so we're going to hit enter and navigate this to on. The action, this is what you want the shades to do. It's currently set up to open the shades, so let's see what our options are here. We can have the shades open, close, clear, meaning that it will clear any overrides that are currently on the network. So if you want all of the shades to go up at the end of the day, you can set a schedule to clear any switch overrides, and as long as you have a default position of 0 programmed into your motor, once the schedule goes through, all the shades will retract at the end of the day or at whatever time you specify. Preset 1 just means that the shade will go to this preset at the given time, and this is actually going to navigate all the way through 64 presets. I'm not going to torture you through that, but you can navigate all the way down from preset 1 to preset 64. So I want the shades to open. Priority. This is what precedence do you want the schedule to take over any other controls. Normal means that it is going to be able to be overridden by wall switches. So if you want your schedule to supersede any wall switch control, you will want to change that to high. If you want the schedule to be a lower priority schedule, to where wall switches and sun sensors can still override the schedule, you would set that to a low. If you want the schedule to just be at the same level as wall switches but not have sun sensors or sun tracking override the shades, you would leave this at normal, and the schedule would override any sun tracking or sun sensing control, but it will still allow you to operate the wall switch during the scheduled time. I'm going to navigate down to the days of the week that I want this to be active for. As you can see, it selects all the days by default. I only want this to happen on Mondays and Fridays, so I'm going to unselect Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Perfect. Now I'm going to hit back. As you can see, my days are now set to Monday and Friday, and then I can set the time. So I'm going to navigate down to set time and hit enter. From here, I can set up what mode the schedule responds to, whether that be a specific time or a sunrise sunset function. To do so, highlight mode and hit enter, and then you can navigate from time, sunrise, sunset. You can select any of those. I want this to operate at a specific time, so I'm going to leave it at time and hit enter. Then I'm going to navigate down to the time, and I'm going to say that I want these shades to open at 6 a.m. every day. So I have my time set up. I'm going to hit back. Perfect. Now I can navigate down to my override time. By default, the override time is set to 0. If you leave the override time set to 0, this command will always stay on the line. So if you have an override time for your wall switches of 2 hours, once that 2-hour override time has elapsed, the schedule will take control of the shades. If you want this schedule to only be enforced for a set amount of time, this is where you would do that. So I've set that I want the shades to open at 6 a.m. every Monday and Friday, but I only want it to do that for an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up with an override time of 60 minutes. Please note that these times are in minutes. Went a little past 60 there, so we're going to navigate back. Perfect. Override time, 60 minutes. And this schedule is currently set up as a master group, which is perfect. I want it to affect every shade on the network. However, if I did not, I can simply hit enter. Navigate down, custom group. Again, this would be the add skip method where you watch the shades jog up and down one by one. Or if you have previously set up global groups from your motor limit tool, you can assign this schedule to those groups. We have already programmed this motor to global group 1, 2, and 4, so I'm going to select global group 4 to apply this schedule to. Hit enter and it will save this information. Perfect. Now my schedule is set up for global group 4. I can hit back, and now I see that schedule 1 is now active while the other 7 schedules are still off. That is setting up a schedule on the SSI and SSI Plus. Please note, one important factor, if you are going to set a schedule based on sunrise and sunset, you will want to ensure that you have your location and time set accordingly. So let's cover that. We covered our time in the beginning of the video, so let's jump down to location. This is where you're going to input your latitude and longitude of your project so you can have the astronomical properties of sunrise and sunset schedules. So to do this, you would simply do a Google search of your location and input that data here. So the latitude, you simply hit enter and you can change it in the individual numerical value boxes. Same thing with your longitude. You just want to make sure this is set up accordingly. Otherwise, your sunrise and sunset events may not trigger appropriately. Now we're going to navigate through a few of the settings, the lesser known settings in the SSI. So we're going to hit our enter button, get to our configuration screen, and then navigate down to settings. Basic mode we've already covered. If you want to toggle between basic and advanced mode, this is where you would do that. I suggest leaving in basic mode unless you need multiple sensors controlling one group. Time is where you're going to set up your date and time that we covered earlier in the video. Location is for sunrise, sunset, or astronomical movements. It's imperative that that is set. Overrides. This is your override time for your wall switches or any other external control devices. By default, the SSI ships with an override time of 0 minutes, meaning that any wall switch or external control device on the network is indefinitely going to override the shades and take priority of the sun sensor and or schedules. If you want that to clear at an automatic time, this is where you would set that up. I typically recommend 60 minutes or 120 minutes at a minimum. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up for 60 minutes. Perfect. Now, anytime a wall switch, AMI gateway control, or any other type of control is sent out to the shades, that will last for 60 minutes. Then it will clear, and either the sun sensors or the schedules will take control after that. If you're doing a fresh install and you're just now setting this up for the first time, but you've been testing your shade movement with switches, it's going to be important that you go down to the Clear Now menu option and select that to be able to test your sensor and schedule functions. So I'm going to hit Clear Now. My screen will not populate anything. I just know that it has sent out a clear command and I can now test my sensors and schedules. Then the last option is a factory reset. It's just simply going to ask you, are you sure you want to do a factory reset? Yes or no. No is going to be the back arrow here. Yes is going to be the enter button. I do not want to erase this, so I'm going to hit no and back out. And then if I navigate down a little farther, it will show me the current firmware version of the controller. This may be a question that we ask if you call in for technical support. So just be cognizant that you can navigate down slightly farther and see your firmware version right there at the bottom of the screen. Thanks for watching. If you have any more questions or concerns, please contact Draper Technical Support at 1-800-238-7999 and select option 3.